Hi everyone, Falcha, welcome to a little card share for the week ahead. You're welcome to this in whatever time that you arrive into this space, knowing that when we enter into these spaces with deep intention, we are entering into Tir na Nog time, into the timeless eternal nature of the other world. So in whatever way or whatever name that comes to you, could be Tir na Nog, it could be Evan Avalok, like Avalon, or whatever it may be, we are going into non-ordinary time. And so I'm going to begin by lighting just my candle here, little flame. Yeah, just that, inviting in the flame of Imbas, of otherworldly knowledge, of wisdom that illuminates to guide us today. In this short but sacred time. And the cards that I have to pull from today are from the Celtic Shaman's book, Guided Journeys to the Other World by John Matthews, illustrated by Chesca Potter. Which the illustrations are absolutely beautiful in this deck. And this deck was actually gifted to me by a beautiful, beautiful soul friend of mine at the Hill of Tara, actually. So, yeah, I'm going to just shuffle the cards now. And as I do, this is an invitation to you to pour your energy into the cards. I want you to feel like this is just for you. Because as I said, when we enter into otherworldly time, um, we're entering essentially into the same scape as a dreaming time where all timelines can coexist and where the personal and the collective can go coexist together. So although this is for the collective, you can find the personal in this as well. So yeah, just closing down the eyes and just pouring your energy, pouring your breath, your life force into these cards. To give them just a little shuffle here, pouring in the energy of the week ahead. So we're in the season of Bealtaine, the blooming time. And let's see what wants to reveal itself to us now today. All right. So we have the crow. This is a beautiful card here. The crow. And it's funny because I had such a mystical experience recently with two crows when I was on Slieve Donard with a beautiful friend of mine. We had hiked Slieve Donard and hiked up to one of the cairns. So Slieve Donard has a cairn on top of it with which is a kind of an ancient stone structure, essentially a passage tomb. And there's on each of the summits, there's two summits. There's a cairn on each, which is just incredible to think of how our ancestors built these ancient monuments, these temples on, like Slieve Donard is the highest mountain in the north of Ireland. And it actually aligns to the Cailleach's house on Slieve Gullion, which is another mountain in the north. That bears the Cailleach's name, and that one is aligned to, I think it's the sunset if I remember, on the winter solstice. But anyway, on the top of Slieve Donard, these two crows are just swooping and squawking, and the whole place was engulfed with mist. And as we descended, they came, it was almost like they were coming with us. And I just love crows. I've such an affinity with crows. And for me, I guess what the crow symbolizes is the crow symbolizes the ability to see. There's a seership element with the crow, and we see this in the goddess, the Morrigan or Morrigan, the great queen. And one of the aspects of her is called the Badhbh or Badhbh in Old Irish, and she is a crow, and she chants her prophecies. She has the gift of prophecy. She is a seer. And she chants in an old form, the oldest form of poetry in Old Irish called a rusk. And a rusk is a magical spell or incantation that uses alliteration in a very obscure way to bring magic, to induce magic, essentially. And one of the aspects of the Badhbh or the Badhbh and the Morrigan in this form is to determine who will be victorious in battle. Because she is a sovereignty goddess, and it is really important, or maybe a core attribute of the sovereignty goddess to determine which tribe, which TUATH is worthy of the land, because she's an expression of the land, of the goddess herself. And so I guess, yeah, inviting in this energy of the crow goddess, the crow archetype, what we're asking with this is for guidance around what needs to die often, or what needs to be composted, to be metabolized, to be transmuted into a different form so that something new can emerge. So, what are you handing over this week? What are you letting die so that something new can emerge? And asking for the guidance from the crow, from that seership element of the crow. The crow's sight is really important. And actually, crows, have incredible, as far as I understand, incredible facial recognition as well. They can recognize a face and warn, other crows, in their own kin networks, if they feel that a face is going to be a particular threat as well. So there's this kind of, this real discernment, this real recognition, this seership of nearly cutting through, a cutting through of what needs to go in order for the new to emerge, and it's a good time with the new moon coming up now next week. So feeling into the energy this week of that crow, letting the crow guide you in handing over whatever needs to be composted, metabolized, transmuted, and so forth. So that new life can come in. And it really, the crow for me, I guess, with the kind of blackness element of it as well, would symbolize that time of nigredo in, the alchemical process, which is where you take the prima materia, the primal matter, and you transform it into something else. You give it away. It's almost like a giving away into the soil for composting, for transmutation. So yeah, I feel like that's the invitation this week, with this beautiful crow card. And yeah, there's some gorgeous symbology here. It's a very regal crow in this card, surrounded by light, And actually, really interesting, it has all the colors of alchemy here, which you didn't really notice, the four phases of alchemy. So we have the nigredo, the blackening, which is the first phase. And then we have more kind of this white around, this light, the white here, for the yellow around the crow, which is the albedo, the whitening phase of, when we've given way to something and handed something over, how something new can emerge, right? A third option can come in. Maybe there's something that's being conflicted within us, a shadowy element that needs to go, and we are separating the shadow from ourselves. And then a third, an albedo, something whitening, a new consciousness can start to emerge from there. Then you have the yellowing, the citrinitas, which is the solar consciousness. We're in that time actually in Bealtaine. Bealtaine is the citrinitas, the solar consciousness of the Celtic seasons. So this is where, an integration starts to happen of a new identity because you've given something over. And then the final stage is the reddening, the rubedo, the new blood, the new life that comes from this as well. It's the completion, the magnum opus, the great work. So yeah, all of this contained in this card. So yeah, Sinead, that's my interpretation of this card. I'm sure there's some beautiful um, explorations and explanation in the book. So if any of you have that deck, feel free to explore, yeah, the meaning for yourselves there as well. And I just have a couple of announcements as well that I want to make today. So the first is that for anyone in the membership, the Selkie Studio, so our space to gather and just share what's coming up for us, what's alive for us in this work, is happening tomorrow. So your schedule is in the membership on Substack and all of that. So please come along if you can come along live. The second announcement is I wanted to share that myself and my beautiful Anamkara, Aoife Loudon, will be hosting another retreat this year in the Boyne Valley in October. So just before we enter into Samhain. And we will be, yeah, that will be going live before the summer solstice. There's already a wait list, and some of you might be on that wait list already. But if you're feeling the call, definitely put your name down for the wait list or on the wait list. I'll include it in the email with this video, because it will fill up quickly. And yeah, if you feel the call, it'll be an incredible just immersion into just creativity with particularly the goddess Bowen and the white cow, because we're going to be on the banks of her beautiful earthly river as she matches the celestial river of the Milky Way as well. And then finally, just to share as well for anyone who's interested, that over the summer I plan to retire some of my self-guided courses, just as new energy comes through, or maybe I'll refine some of them and just bring them to life in a new iteration. But at the moment, there's 50% off these courses. So, they start at €24 and you can yeah, there's a diversity of courses there. You can reclaim your seal skin with the shape-shifting Selkie. So that's an exploration of what your seal skin symbolizes for you through the story of the Selkie or the Myjin Mara, the Sea Maiden. And it includes a potent movement practice around actually moving your body to magnetize your seal skin, the full embodiment of you. And someone actually recently told me that they had never felt so alive, in their life, while doing that practice, which was really, really deeply moving. And there's also Explorations, the Song of the Banshee, which is co-hosted with another beautiful Anamkara, Sarah Richardson, who is a midwife of the medical and the shamanic world as well, deeply embodied feminine wisdom. And so we looked at the Banshee as the archetypal energy of the Banshee, which is very old in Irish mythology, and actually relates to the Morrigan, interestingly. There's so much to say about the Banshee as the Banquincha, the keening woman, as her psychopumpal nature to help us transition when we are going through death and death processes in our lives as well. There's Sacred Union is another course which explores the sovereignty goddess and king and how we can be within, masculine and feminine union within ourselves, no matter what gender identity we hold. There's pleasure with the dear goddess Fleet, and you can also bring this together in a bundle with my most popular course, which is the Celtic Woman's Voyage. And this is a yearly cycle over 12 different themes with different goddesses, from the Cailleach to the Morrigan to Warrior Queen Maeve, really deep kind of explorations of these archetypal energies with embodiment practices to support you in your process as well. So yeah, there's a real richness there, and I'll include a link in this email as well. So yeah, from there, after all of that, I'm just going to take a moment just to, yeah, close down this space, this Tiernan Oak time today. Again, welcoming in the energy of the crow as a discerning guide, almost flying forward on our path, seeing, prophesizing, and helping us to transmute from that place. And so, yeah, I'm just going to pour the energy of the crow into this flame of our more than human ally, our shapeshifter, our guide for the week ahead. Agus mar sin atá sé, and so it is. So yeah, just wishing you a beaut of a week ahead, and I'll be in touch soon. Slán for now. Bye.